How's it going, everyone? It's me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, here with a Borderlands video because we actually have some news to talk about. And I think the amazing thing about this is that I'm like a week late with this news. I'm so sorry. It just passed me by. I didn't even realize that it happened. And then I went back and saw it. I'm like, oh, this could relate to Borderlands. Let's talk about it. But before we talk about it, I want to ask all of you the question, what do you think the chances are of Borderlands 3 being revealed at E3 of this year? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. So why are we talking about Borderlands 3 potentially being revealed at E3? Well, the organizers of E3, the ESA, announced something different to the typical traditional E3 showcase, and that is E3 Coliseum. Essentially, this is kind of E3's way to bring in more attendees that aren't necessarily media, because as you know, for many years, E3 was just solely for media, for influencers, for news outlets, for websites, things like that. If you're just a fan of games, you couldn't actually get into E3 unless you knew someone and you had connections. But now ESA is selling 15,000 public tickets to E3, which allows, again, the general public to be able to get in. And then there's this E3 Coliseum event, which is just a further way to bring in more of the general public to E3. And I'm certain that next year we're going to be seeing more of this experimentation from the ESA with E3. But let's talk about E3 Coliseum, and I want to put the description up on the screen now, and you'll know exactly why I'm talking about Borderlands 3 when I get to the second picture. But let's talk about this first. So ESA says that we are excited to announce that the ESA and E3 are teaming up with producer Jeff Keighley, the Game Awards, to introduce E3 Coliseum, a spectacular main stage that brings video game fans closer to their favorite games and creators. The E3 Coliseum takes place on June 13th and 14th at the Novo at LA Live. Now here's the interesting bit, right? Inside E3 Coliseum, video games' biggest fans, developers, and special guests come together to celebrate the world's most powerful form of entertainment in expected and unexpected ways. The world's top video game developers will take E3 attendees behind the scenes of E3's biggest new announcements, and special guests will celebrate video games' role in influencing their work and popular culture. Programming will include appearances by visionary game creators, as well as celebrated talent from the film, TV, music, and other entertainment industries. Now here's the key. Publishers scheduled to host panels include Activision, Bethesda Softworks, Microsoft, Gearbox Publishing, etc., etc. And then below, at E3 Coliseum, you will experience the second point there, first looks at upcoming games. The world's top developers enter the Coliseum to show fans exclusive new peeks at the biggest games of E3 and answer questions. So let's break it down here. We have Gearbox Publishing, behind the Borderlands series, of course. We have this E3 Coliseum, where as part of the entertainment, developers are going to be giving first looks at their upcoming games. Now, of course, we don't know which developers are showing which new looks of which upcoming games. That's completely speculation at this stage. However, I think it's a safe assumption that if a publisher is attending this event, because bear in mind, the publishers are paying to be able to attend E3 Coliseum, to have a space on the floor and to be able to gain that publicity. I don't believe it's likely that a publisher is going to attend E3 Coliseum, host a panel, pay to do so, and then not use that opportunity, use that publicity associated with the event to talk about and hype up their upcoming games. I think it would be a little bit silly, for example, if Gearbox Publishing were to come out and say, yeah, we're talking about Battleborn, a game that's already come out and that's already been played for months, or I don't even know when that was released, but you know, games that have been played for months or years. It's just not likely in my opinion. So while I'm not sure if every single publisher or developer that attends E3 Coliseum is going to show something new, I think it's safe to say that the majority will. Otherwise, there's no real reason for them to do so. And let's also bear in mind that just at PAX recently, Randy Pitchford out of nowhere showed the tech demo for Borderlands 3. And that wasn't even like expected. That was a completely different style of panel. Yet, they utilized that to give a bit of a tease and a bit of a sneak peek at the upcoming Borderlands game. Again, they never said that that was Borderlands 3, but we can be sure, of course, that it was. So I think here there's a very solid chance that Gearbox Publishing is going to be showing a new game of some sort. Again, first looks at upcoming games. The world's top developers will take attendees behind the scenes of E3's biggest new announcements. So I think this is all leading to Gearbox announcing something. One game, two games, but they're going to be announcing something new. So we can't just off of that say that this is definitely going to be Borderlands 3. We don't even know in the first place whether they're definitely showing something new. But even if that's the safe assumption here, we don't know if that new game or new games that are going to be shown by Gearbox are also going to be Borderlands 3 either. So this is all speculation. However, it's a solid basis to say Gearbox is still showing something new, so there is a chance that it's going to be Borderlands 3, and we just have recent precedent with PAX that Gearbox can do that. They have a random panel and say, hey, here's a bit of a sneak peek of the upcoming Borderlands game. But the difference is now, this panel is geared to be showing brand new titles that no one's ever seen before. It seems to me that's the entire purpose of E3 Coliseum. And what else is Gearbox going to be showing? Yes, this is Gearbox publishing, not just the developer, so any other developer within the Gearbox publishing family could very well have a place on their panel in order to show their game that's being published by Gearbox. But then again, bear in mind, Gearbox Software is arguably Gearbox Publishing's biggest developer under their family, under their branch. So to be honest, with all of the news that we've had in years about, Randy Pitchford and the team at Gearbox definitely moving on to the Borderlands series after Battleborn wraps up, which it pretty much has, right? And countless times in the past, I've brought you videos showing you the kind of lineup of Gearbox's games and discussing which ones are likely to be coming out in the near future and when, bearing in mind that my prediction for Borderlands 3's release was May of next year. I think the stars are really aligning for us to see Borderlands 3 at E3 of this year, and to be honest, E3 Coliseum is the perfect opportunity to do so. So anyways, Wastelanders, let me know what you think about this particular piece of news in the comments below. Do you think it means anything? Do you think we're going to see Borderlands 3 at E3 of this year? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.